telling everyone who's here. Obviously, this is Daniel Schuler, the husband. That's his sister-in-law, Joyce Schuler. We have Jay Schuler. And we have Tom Ruskin, who's my investigator. And one of my sons, Lance, is here. All right. We want to speak to you about the events that occurred, and I'll tell you quite candidly that I didn't see any real benefit, except my client wants to talk about his wife and some of the events. I can tell you in the 38 years I'm practicing law, this case has captured me and just devastated my understanding of what life should be. On the day in question, they were not getting divorced. They were not in marital counseling. They had no marital problems. She was not an alcoholic. She rarely had a drink. She got in the van with the children. 9 witnesses saw her that day, not drunk, with no alcohol breath, no pot breath. And what should have taken a 35-minute drive took almost 4 hours. Prior to getting into that car, she had numerous medical conditions, problems. One of them was an abscess which was almost 2 months old, which she would not go to the dentist for no matter how much he begged her. There was a swelling and there was pain on the left side.
I believe it was, yes.
She had diabetes at various levels. Excuse me. And then, remember the rule. If you want a question, you raise your hand. If not, I'll never point to you. Okay? She also had a lump on her leg, and the lump on the leg, we're not sure what it was, but it was moving. We have not yet decided to have a new autopsy. Now, my client is a public safety officer in Nassau County under the police department. I will not allow any questions about marijuana use at all. Marijuana use is not a crime anymore. It's a public health violation, but I don't want that answered. And he will not, and if you ask it, I will stop the question. He will talk to you what I think what you all should want to know about. His wife, the child he lost, the niece and nephews, his child that survived, and the relationship with the wife. First question, please. Yes, sir.
Mr. Schuler, if you could
Speak up, sir.
Okay. Mr. Schuler, why did you not accompany your wife, or why did you take 2 cars back, and why did you have no kids with you?
Can you go, Dominic, can you let me go to the mic?
Yes.
Just treat, please.
I went up there a day earlier to open up the camper and to get a little fishing in by myself before all the kids came up.
Can you talk about,
Good.
can you talk about the range of emotions that you've gone through over the last several days?
Sad. Very sad. Upset. Lost my daughter, lost my wife. And all I have is my son.
How is your son doing now?
Gonna be good, better, getting there.
Are you angry at your wife?
No, not angry at her.
Has it split your family?
I'm sorry.
How can you explain her behavior
When?
that day?
Fine.
You mean before he got?
Before and after your conversations with her, can you take us through that morning?
As normal. She was fine. We had a cup of coffee in the morning. We packed the cars up, like we always do. And we headed out. Just like every other weekend, or every weekend we go up there.
I might tell you that my investigators have already interviewed people at the campsite. No one saw her that morning with alcohol, drunk, acting strange.
The opposite. The opposite.
The opposite. She was happy, talking to people, gave a kiss goodbye to the owner of the camp,
And wave.
and that person smelled her breath. There was definitely no alcohol when she left that campsite.
Mr. Schuler, do you believe that the 911 tapes will reveal anything helpful?
Next question, please.
Can you explain the bottle of
Sir.
vodka?
Yeah, the state police knows that there was a bottle of absolute vodka in the van. Do you know where that came from, whose it was? Or can you explain?
No, I don't.
Do you think, were you aware, is it possible your wife may have had a drinking problem you weren't aware of?
Definitely
That's a
not.
very fair question, and let's start off with the questions asked. Did she have an alcohol problem? Did you know her to go to bars?
Absolutely not.
Did you know her to get drunk and act in?
I never saw her drunk since the day I met her.
Is it possible she was an alcoholic and you didn't know about it?
Your question, please.
Thank you. Are you saying that a medical condition could cause her to drink?
Well, we don't know. Did she have a stroke and then have alcohol? You have to, if you believe the circumstances the way they are now described, you have to believe that a woman with 5 children in a car is smoking pot and drinking out of a bottle. By the way, the children in the car, and we can't tell you which one yet, spoke to the father, their father.
What did they say?
She doesn't feel well, but nothing else. And we have now an eyewitness who called me last night. You see, when she drives this distance, which should have been 40 minutes.
2.5 hours.
No. Where she went, leaving the campsite to where she had the accident, should be an hour.
Approximately, yes.
It's 3 hours of time used. She's on one side of the road. She crosses over dividers. She goes back over. This is not the actions of a person who's just drunk. Something happened. And I think something happened, I'll do you next. Something happened to her brain. That doesn't give me an answer. Does not give me an answer for the alcohol in her stomach or the marijuana allegedly there. And I'm not saying that test is wrong here. But something had to happen. This is not a woman who would jeopardize 5 children. She was the one they chose to always drive. Yes. Speak up.
Exhuming the body, are you planning to exhume her body?
That question was asked, but I'll answer again. Question was, are we intending to exhume the body? And the answer is we have not decided. We have not gotten all the results yet from the medical examiner.
Sir,
Ma'am?
Mr. Schuler, did you speak with her at all during the trip?
Absolutely.
While she's driving home.
No.
Dominic,
I'm sorry.
do you know which child spoke to her brother when he called, when she spoke to him on the phone? Do you know which child?
No.
I'm sorry?
It was Emma.
Emma? And do you know what the conversation was?
The first conversation was we had a great time. We're going to run a little bit late because they had play practice. And Diane said, Warren, we're running a little bit late. Emma and all the girls said they had a wonderful time.
Now,
That's it?
the question asked of
Was
her,
there more than one conversation? Or?
one of the conversations asked of her was, are you all right? And this person who spoke to her said she didn't sound drunk, she didn't sound slurred speech, but she sounded confused. Now, an eyewitness contacted me last night through my service. They spoke to me and said that he was on the parkway and next to her. She was driving at a very slow rate, not swerving, and he dialed the police, which I'm trying to get the information on.
You're saying there were more than one conversation?
There were
No?
3 conversations, 4 conversations, thank you, Tom,
Or con-
between the children and her, actually.
the children?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
What I think is important here, our investigation, we've only been involved for less than 24 hours now, has shown inconsistencies in the reporting of this incident. I've only seen that 1 call was received. We now know that there were 4 calls. We know where those calls went, and we're following up on those today. And we're going to try and determine what was said. Was she at all confused during those calls? Was she dazed? If we are going under the premise that she had a stroke at that point in time, at what point was she in her medical condition?
And by the way, the misgiving of information, we are not blaming. No, you can say that, Tommy. We're not blaming on the state police or the district attorney's office. It's just more information seems to be coming out. And again, this eyewitness, which I'm trying to get to meet with, or he is today, says that she seemed to be looking around as confused in some way, and he waved to her to maybe pull over, and she didn't. We don't have all of it yet, and we'll have to find out. The question asked, and I'd like to get to it, the human side for a moment.
That's what I was about.
Okay? This man loved this woman. He is in a daze from all of this. Absolutely. Was there discussions of a divorce?
Absolutely not. I love my wife. We love each other.
There's been so much negative press now surrounding your wife. It couldn't be any worse. How do you want everyone to remember your wife?
She was a perfect wife, an outstanding mother, hard worker, reliable person, trustworthy. I would marry her again tomorrow, but she's awesome. She's the best.
And your daughter. Tell us about your daughter.
She's my little girl. She's gone. I don't know what else to say about that. My little girl.
And will life go on now for you, focusing on your son?
Absolutely. I promised my wife I will take care of my son the way she wanted me to. That's what I'm going to do.
Mr. Schuler, when did you receive the toxicology report, and what was your reaction to it?
I don't think you've read it.
I don't know what you said.
He asked you, when did you receive the toxicology? I have not given him to read yet.
When you first so far, the autopsy says no signs of stroke or diabetes. Are you saying that?
That's not, first of all, what you're saying is what the newspaper said, correct?
That's what you've read so far.
Okay, well, let me tell you something. There was a name in the newspaper today that used to go to a bar with her and get drunk. The name was
Sheila.
Sheila. Did you ever meet a Sheila?
Never.
Did you ever speak to a Sheila?
Never.
When their lifestyle was that his wife would go to work, the babysitter who's here,
I watch my kids during the day. I work nights.
when the babysitter was there for a short time, then he'd leave to go to work, and then the wife came home. The babysitter has told me, I never saw her drunk. I never saw her smoke pot. I never saw, and she was there how many days a week?
5 days, 4 or 5 days.
4 days a week.
So,
Okay.
Schuler, when you got when you
I'm
heard the
sorry.
results about her being drunk.
Well, you
and
spoke
high,
out, and we're not going to do
I
it
know,
that
but
way.
Mr. Barbara,
I know.
What's
I'll
your
get to you.
reaction?
From the
What's the
back,
reaction
please.
to that?
From the back, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I asked before, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just want to keep it organized. I think we're doing great. I will come back to you, ma'am.
911 tapes. Do you think they'll be helpful?
I think that the 911 tapes will tell us a lot. We're working in conjunction with the state police and the prosecutor's office to really try and understand for Daniel and his family's purpose what really happened here. This is so out of character for this woman. There has to be some other explanation.
Yes, ma'am.
So my question is, when you heard the toxicology report that she was supposedly drunk and high, what was your reaction?
I'm not sure. Would never happen.
Shock.
It's not true.
Can you just elaborate a little on your reaction to, I mean, if you're saying it was totally out of character, can you just elaborate a little?
Unbelievable, right?
Shocked. Say it. Not true.
I think Joyce is someone you also might want to speak to. Jane, I mean. Which? Jay, I apologize. Come over, Jay. All right. This was her dearest friend, close relative, married to her.
Your full name, please?
My Jay Schuler.
And you're married to?
I'm married to Danny's brother, Jimmy Schuler. Diane was my sister-in-law.
What's your first name?
Jay. Diane was my sister-in-law. I've known Diane for years. Diane and I spent a lot of time together. I left the country to visit relatives, and I left my son Evan in Diane's care. She drove him back and forth to school. She drove him back and forth to baseball. Anything I needed with Evan, she was there. There was nobody. We trust family, nobody else. Diane, I didn't have to leave a list of telling her what to do. It's automatic. She knew what to do. Diane was a nanny before she became a Cablevision executive. She loved children. Her nieces were her girls. There's no way. I've known Diane. We socialize. We do family barbecues. Family was the most important thing to her. To have the cousins all playing together. There is no way she would ever jeopardize the children.
Like if there
Yes,
wasn't
sir.
any health problem that contributed to her uncharacteristic.
Well, how-
Diane was very. Diane would not.
Thing might have happened to her that made her drink.
Well, how would she know?
I'm just saying, did she ever have any
Diane, it was a
problems
trooper.
with
She would
Diane?
never complain. She would not go to a doctor. She was a trooper. Nothing hurt her.
But she never had. She wasn't like suicidal.
Abs-
at all?
no.
That's a fair question. Was she psychiatrically suicidal, depressed when she talked about that?
Absolutely not.
No way. Absolutely not.
She loved her kids, and Erin, who is my goddaughter, our little girl. No one in the Schuler family, we haven't had little girls. This was our first little girl on the Schuler side. And the grandparents are in mourning. This is our baby girl. You have to understand, this is tragic. We're forgetting about Erin, Diane, and the three Hans girls.
Sir?
There have been questions. State police have made statements about not getting full cooperation from the family. Can you address those concerns?
Absolutely, that's not so.
We've been mourning.
We've been in a little bit of mourning. We are going to meet again with them. My client's been interviewed already, no holds barred. Spoke about everything.
Danny's been at the hospital.
And Danny
Brian.
goes to the hospital every day, all day.
He doesn't leave.
He stays alive.
He stays.
Dominic,
One
Dan-
second.
Dominic, a question for Daniel. Daniel, obviously going through hell right now. When you go home at night, what in your head is the explanation for this? What can you think of that could possibly have caused this?
There ain't none.
He says it has to be a stroke.
I
Has
go to
be
bed
something.
every night knowing, and listen to this, I go to bed every night knowing my heart is clear. She did not drink. She's not an alcoholic. Listen to all that? She is not an alcoholic, and my heart is rested every night when I go to bed. Something medically had to happen.
Dominic,
Are you saying?
Dominic,
Yes.
CDS, how is your little boy? How is he doing?
He's going to be doing
It's
better
going to
in
be a
time.
long road, but he will do well.
Don't forget he's lost his, well, we don't know yet.
We don't
But
know.
don't forget he lost his cousins and his mother.
And his baby sister.
And his baby sister.
Can I ask
Do you
everything?
have anything to say to the Bastardi family is also involved?
We, the Bastardi family, we grieve for them.
Very sorry.
Very sorry. We grieve for them also.
All right. We're going to do about 3 more questions and that's it. So who didn't get a question yet?
a question, please?
Who didn't?
I did not.
Go ahead.
Are you trying to say that you do not believe the toxology report that she was not drunk?
They cannot be true.
You're saying there's no way that she could have been drunk?
No way.
No way.
The bottle of vodka that they found
No, it can't be
didn't
true.
exist?
We don't know.
Can I ask my question, please?
Yes.
Can you give a more detailed description of what happened before she went off on the trip
On
home?
Saturday and
what you had to eat together, what conversation?
Why don't we do it from the moment they got up and that'll be the end.
Yeah.
When you got up that day, what happened?
Can he get closer to?
Yeah, come to the
He
middle.
woke me up.
Closer to Dominic.
Right from the moment you woke up.
I woke up at 6 o'clock, went down to my boat to clean it out, do what I got to do. Came back about 6:45, 7 o'clock. I woke her up saying we had to start cleaning the camper so we can start getting home before traffic. She woke up, started packing the bag slowly, started waking the kids up slowly, started getting the kids dressed. We unloaded the camper, all the bags outside the camper, and I walk them to the car and we load them up. We had a cup of coffee, 2 cups of coffee, and then we left.
Do you remember your last words?
Yeah, I kissed everyone goodbye and my wife. That's it.
Thank you.